Right, what we're going to learn today is a little rock and roll exercise which follows what they call a 12-bar pattern. I'll explain that more in detail in a future lesson, but first off we're just going to do the exercise. Now this is how it's going to sound. Now when we attempt this ourselves, you don't need to worry about the speed. Snail pace is the thing to do initially. And once we can play it comfortably like that, slowly, pushing the speed up becomes not that difficult really. Now, just a little bit about how we're playing this. Every single note that we pick is picked with a downstroke of our plectrum. And we keep our right hand resting on the bridge of the guitar so that it acts as a pivot from our wrist. We only really want our wrist moving as we play the exercise. We don't want the arm going up and down, just from the wrist. And we only have a very small fraction of the pick showing between the thumb and the first finger. So we're going to start off with phrase 1. Now remember, we're just using downstrokes with the pick. The first note is the open 6th string. So that means string 6 without any fingers on it at all. Then we put our third finger onto string 6 at fret 4 and we pick that one. Then our first finger goes onto string 5 at fret 2 and we pick that one. Then our third finger goes onto string 5 at fret 4 and we pick that one. Then our first finger goes onto string 4 at fret 2 and we pick that one. Then our third finger goes back to string 5 again at fret 4, pick that one. Then our first finger goes to string 5 at fret 2, pick that one. And then to complete phrase 1, we end up with our third finger back on string 6 at fret 4. So when we put phrase 1 together slowly, it sounds like this. Try and get the fingers close to the frets when they're fretting the strings. You'll get a better note like that without any fret buzz. Now once we can play phrase 1, the idea then is to repeat it a second time. Once. Twice, like that. You should also hear the beats in that when you're playing it. It's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Having done phrase 1 twice, what happens then is we move on to phrase 2. Now phrase 2 is very similar, but it's all over a string. So we now start by picking string 5 open without any fingers on it. Then we put our third finger onto string 5 at fret 4 and pick that one. Then our first finger goes onto string 4 at fret 2 and we pick that one. Then our third finger goes onto string 4 at fret 4 and we pick that one. Then our first finger goes to string 3 at fret 2, pick that one. Then our third finger goes back to string 4 again at fret 4, pick that one. Then our first finger goes to string 4 at fret 2, pick that one. And then to complete phrase 2, we end up with our third finger back on string 5 at fret 4. And that's phrase 2. So we get like that. We play phrase 2 just one time, Having done that, we then move back to phrase 1. So you'll know phrase 1, and at this point we play it one more time. So just to recap to that point then, we've got phrase 1 twice, again, phrase 2 once, phrase 1 once. Now we come to phrase 3. Now phrase 3 starts with your first finger already on string 6 at fret 2. So we pick that one. Then we put our third finger onto string 6 at fret 4. And we pick that one. Then we pick string 5 open. Remember, that means no fingers on it. Then our first finger goes on to string 5 at fret 1. Pick that one. Then put your second finger onto string 5 at fret 2. Pick that one. Then we pick string 5 open again, no fingers on at all. Then our third finger goes back to string 6 at fret 4. Pick that one. And then our first finger goes to string 6 at fret 2. And we pick that one. And that completes phrase 3 then. So when we put phrase 3 together, it sounds like this. And then to complete the exercise, what happens now is we return back to phrase 1 and we play phrase 1 one more time at the end. Like that. And if you want to finalise it or finish it, pick string 6 open. Or when you get to the end of phrase 1 there, you can start the whole exercise again. So you would then do phrase 1 another 2 times and continue through it a second time, go through the whole sequence again. Now a good speed to aim for when you first do this is like this. And if we keep practicing this a little bit every day, eventually we'll be able to push the speed up. And it's rocking and rolling. Right then, we're going to continue on from our first lesson where we did the 12-bar rock and roll exercise. And what we're going to do on this lesson, instead of picking each note in the exercise once with a downstroke of our pick, we're going to pick each note twice with a down and an upstroke motion. So remember, keep that right hand on the bridge, and when you pick the string, it's down up like that on each note. So for example, phrase 1 would now sound like this. And that's driving it along. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'll play the whole exercise through now like that. So we're not learning anything new on the left hand, it's just double picking on the right hand, down up on each note. that's an excellent exercise for that right hand motion, you'll find.